All right, as we dive into comparison essays, the first thing we're going to look at is why structure is so important. And I'll show you the two basic ways to set up an essay. Then we'll check out some clear examples so you can see how the block method works and how the point-by-point method works. After that, we'll figure out how to choose the right method for your own comparison topic, so you always know what to do. We'll also practice writing thesis statements and topic sentences that make your ideas easy to follow. And finally, I'll share a quick checklist that many students forget, but it can take your essay from okay to awesome. So let's get started. And now we're going to talk about comparison essays, and we're going to go over some grammar and sentence structure for it. Let's first start with connectors and transitions. When you are connecting and transitioning in your comparison essay, you will sometimes compare between sentences, for example, using in addition, comma, or similarly, comma, or likewise, comma, at the start of your next sentence. So here are some examples of putting these into practice for the transitions. So, and the first example is middle school students often have several homework assignments each night. Similarly, high school students are expected to complete daily homework, but usually in greater amount. Another example is basketball teaches teamwork and strategy. Likewise, soccer helps players learn to work together to reach a common goal. And a third example is reading novels can strengthen vocabulary. In addition, writing essays helps students practice organizing their ideas clearly. So for connectors and transitions, sometimes we're comparing within a sentence as well. So when we are doing this, here are some examples of what kind of usage we would complete here. So we've got compare to plus noun, the same plus noun plus as plus adjective, adverb plus as, like plus noun, not only blank, but also blank, both blank and blank, or subject and verb, comma, and subject and verb, comma, too. So these are the formats for when you're comparing within a sentence for connecting and transitioning. So some examples are a tablet is light compared to a laptop. The math problem has the same answer as yesterday's problem. Is your backpack as heavy as mine? That story is like a mystery novel. She not only finishes her homework, but also studied for her quiz. Both basketball and volleyball are team sports. Alex plays the guitar and Maria plays the guitar too. So that's how we apply these patterns, sentence patterns, to have connectors and transitions here. Additionally, sometimes you have to do contrasting, especially for comparison essays. So between sentences, some ways that you can do this is by going conversely, comma, however, comma, on one hand, comma, on the other hand, comma, in contrast, comma, or nevertheless, comma. So some examples of putting this into application are many students enjoy working on group projects. Conversely, some prefer to work alone. For reading can be relaxing. However, it can also be challenging if the book is difficult. Or on one hand, middle school students want more independence. On the other hand, they still need guidance from teachers and parents. And soccer requires teamwork. In contrast, running races usually depend on individual effort. And it was raining heavily. Nevertheless, the soccer game continued. And some examples of how to have connectors and transitions within a sentence are for these structures, although or whereas or while plus subject plus verb, or subject plus verb, comma, but subject plus verb, or unlike plus noun. So let's put this into practice. So here are some examples. Although the test was difficult, the students stayed calm and did their best. Or Sarah enjoys playing soccer, but her brother prefers basketball. Unlike most pets, turtles can live for many decades. And so for putting these into practice, try writing out these patterns here and try to fill in the blanks to practice using connectors and transitions. You can pause this video to do that. Next up, adjectives. Think cold to colder to coldest, and good to better to best. I'll show you how they work, and you'll practice them fast. Let's go over some grammar. The comparative and superlative adjectives. So rule one is one-syllable adjectives. When an adjective has only one syllable, form the comparative by adding ER and the superlative by adding EST. For adjectives ending in Y with two syllables, change the Y for adding IE or EST. Here are some examples of that. Winter mornings can be cold, or January is colder than November. February is the coldest month of the year. Today is sunnier than yesterday. And rule two for irregular forms, some adjectives do not follow the usual pattern. For example, good to better to best, or bad to worse to worse. And here are some examples of that. So running is better exercise than watching TV, but swimming might be the best activity for full body fitness. And for rule 3, some longer adjectives here, for adjectives with 2 or more syllables, not ending in Y, use more before the adjective for the comparative and the most for the superlatives. And here are some examples of that. So this puzzle is more challenging than the one we solved yesterday, or that was the most exciting soccer game of the season. So for practice of comparative and superlative adjectives, or part A here, you want to fill in the blanks with the correct form of the adjective. So for example, for number 1, today would be what? If you were to put hot, then yesterday, what form? Well, number 1, the answer here is today is hotter than yesterday. So for number 2, what was the blank? Funny was the form of funny. Joke I've ever heard. The answer is that was the funniest joke I've ever heard. So funniest. 3, this backpack is blank. In what form would you write? Heavy than my old one. Number 3, this backpack is heavier than my old one. And 4, spring is usually blank. Rainy, what form of rainy? This summer. 4, spring is usually rainier than summer. And 5, she is the blank, what form of good? Singer in the school choir. She is the best singer in the school choir. And 6, the math problem is blank, what form of difficult than the last one? The math problem is more difficult than the last one. So here is a challenge extension, a mini paragraph writing assignment for you to consider, to do for your own practice. Here are some instructions. So write a short paragraph, 4 to 6 sentences about one of the topics below. Use at least 3 comparative or superlative adjectives in writing. And be sure to underline the comparative or superlative forms. So here are some topic choices. Number 1, comparing 2 or more sports. 2, comparing 2 different seasons of the year. 3, comparing school subjects you take, or 4, comparing different types of pets. So try to write mini paragraphs to practice these extensions and how to write connectors and transitions within your writing. Here's an example of something that works. So if the topic was seasons of the year, we could write, winter is usually colder than fall, but summer is the hottest season of the year. Spring is often rainier than summer, which helps flowers bloom. Many students think summer is the best season because there is no school. However, fall can be the most colorful season with all the leaves changing. So here's some grammar, so some parallel structure. What we should talk about here is this explanation 1 is list of words. When you write a sentence with items in a list, make sure each item uses the same part of speech. So for example, if you start with nouns, keep the rest as nouns. If you start with adjectives, keep them all as adjectives. Here are some examples. The school library provides resources such as books, computers, and magazines, 3 nouns. Or the soccer game was fast, exciting, and intense, 3 adjectives. And another explanation, something else I want you to keep in mind, are lists of phrases and clauses. So parallel structure also applies when you write longer parts of a sentence, such as phrases or clauses. Each item should follow the same pattern. So here are some examples of that. The coach explained that players must arrive on time and that they must bring all equipment, 2 noun clauses. Or the city is popular with tourists because of its historic landmarks, lively festivals, and beautiful parks, 3 noun phrases. And to stay healthy, teenagers should eat balanced meals, exercise regularly, and get enough sleep, 3 verb phrases. Before we wrap up, we'll put it all together. Block and point-by-point method outlines. You'll see exactly how to set up your intro, body, and conclusion. Then run a fast final checklist to polish your draft. So comparison essay block-by-block method outline. You always want to start with, first of all, knowing your topic, and then you want to have your introductory paragraph. You want to have a hook, connecting information, which also shares the background information. The thesis statement, which mentions 2 subjects and 3 points of comparison in that thesis statement. And then it will have 2 body paragraphs for the block method. So for body paragraph 1 in the topic sentence, you want to mention the first subject and then the 3 points of comparison and provide details about those 3 points of comparison. And then in body paragraph 2, you want to mention the second subject and the 3 points of comparison, and then the details for those 3 points of comparison. You want 6 to 8 sentences within these body paragraphs. And then you have your conclusion paragraph, where you restate the thesis statement in different wording, you summarize the body paragraphs, and you provide a conclusion sentence. For the comparison essay outline for the point-by-point method essay outline, you want to have your introductory paragraph the same here, whereby you have the hook, connecting information, and thesis statement in the same manner, and the conclusion paragraph in the same manner. However, there are 3 body paragraphs if there are 3 points of comparison. So body paragraph 1 focuses on point of comparison 1 and mentions all the details about the point of comparison 1 for both subjects in that body paragraph 1. Likewise, for body paragraph 2, you now talk about point of comparison 2 as the focus, and you discuss both subjects for the point of comparison 2 in the body paragraph 2. And then in this case, for body paragraph 3, you're going to have the point of comparison 3 is your focus of this third body paragraph, and you're going to mention details on subject 1 and 2 for this body paragraph for this type of structure of point-by-point method comparison essay. And here is a checklist that can help you to review over your how to revise and edit your comparison essay or essays at this level before you hand something in to be marked or graded for feedback. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more essay writing tips and see you in the next video.